Good morning and welcome to Christmas Code Day number 22, our devotional journal with the Christmas Code O.S. Hawkins with Mount Beulah Baptist Church here. I'm Pastor Randy and we are on day number 22. The key word, backstage. When I have gone to a few concerts, I usually sit out in the general audience. I don't really have a backstage pass. I've always thought about what it would be like to have a backstage pass and to see what's going on backstage. I have my lanyard here that is from Camp Caswell a couple years ago when we went, and it's actually my daughter's lanyard, and it gives you access all around the property, all around the facilities there at Camp Caswell, and gets you in the cafeteria and to worship and to classes, and it gives you access pretty much everywhere. But the staff, they've got a different access, and they were able to get around wherever they needed to get around. And then there's the performers. They have a different access. It was early in the career of Randy Travis that he devoted himself, that he was going to perform and he was going to make contact with any fans that wanted to come in contact with him. That was his desire, and early on he did his best to be accessible to all those fans. Well, then his fan base grew tremendously, and Randy Travis decided he just couldn't do it, and his marketers came in and said, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's do backstage passes." And so Randy Travis loved the idea. His marketers loved the idea. A lot more money. And the truth of the matter with all that, people could pay a large amount of money, have a backstage pass, come in and spend time with Randy Travis before or after a performance. And so that sort of satisfied him. He was meeting some of his fans as well as those that had this backstage pass. For us, as we consider Christmas Code Day 22 and this backstage pass, or this backstage perspective, we consider Jesus and his birth. We know he wasn't born in a palace. We know he didn't have security guards. We know there was no entrance fees. His pass was directly accessible. You could just walk in. There wasn't any issues there. If you could handle the smell of the stable and the few animals that might have been there, and if you smiled at Joseph and Mary, I'm sure that they were like, "Okay, come on in. It's a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger." The access was totally available to any who would come. I consider the wise men, when they got there a year later, 18 months later, the access was still there. They came to the door of the house and they met Jesus as a toddler, and again the access was totally there. Let me just tell you this: you have total, complete backstage access to Jesus Christ at any time you want it. I know we've discussed the word access, but this gives you a whole different idea that you can come in and spend intimate time, get to know Jesus on a personal level and a greater level. And I trust this Christmas you'll use your backstage pass, your backstage access, to spend intimate time with Jesus Christ. Ponder, yes, the birth of Christ, but strengthen your relationship in him this Christmas. Christmas Code Day number 22. Keyword backstage. Will you spend your time with Christ this Christmas as you should?